Hi, my name is James Omokwe. I am the director and the consulting producer for Osamede, the film. I mean, one of the things that I've always wanted to do is tell authentically African stories, and Osamede is first of all an authentically African story. I've always, in some of the things that I do, I've always been very interested in giving a slice of history and using that as an anchor point whenever it is that we're telling fictional stories. I think that one of the strongest points of Osamede, and I don't mean to give a lot of it away, is that the anchor point of the story starts in 1897, which was a very pivotal moment within the Benin Kingdom history, and that was really quite fascinating. I've always said again also that as filmmakers, we are like griots, storytellers. We don't do a lot of history, we don't do a lot of research, we don't know a lot of things. And the ability to reimagine what it could have been like over 100 years ago and then tell this fictional story, to the world is what really interested me in this particular story. Secondly, what also interested me is that the story in itself focuses on a female hero. If I met Lillian, she'd done this stage play a couple of times. So it wasn't something that we just stumbled upon. It wasn't that, let's just do it because people will like it. What was more important is that in the world that we live in today, where you hear people say, it's a male-dominated society. When you hear stories, you see the man is always the hero, the male figure is always the, Jonathan. It's also important to elevate the feminine energy and the female being, and show that a woman can also be a hero, or she can save people and doesn't necessarily need to have a man by her side to do it. That is also what interested me in this story, and I was willing to take it on and say, yeah, I'll do it. One of the things that helped me tell this story is the fact that I've done a lot of epic films. Like, there was a time in my career where I decided I didn't want to do any other thing but epic films or period pieces, because it was a niche I wanted to carve for myself. And every time we do a new project, we always want to do it better. Do you get? We always want to push the boundaries. And in all honesty, for me, I've been in TV for quite some time, and there was and I'll be very not serious. I'm glad that my back, like, I think that just those African magic shows and all those other things prepared me for this particular film and some of the other things that will come moving forward. So yeah, I mean, I'm happy. We started doing this epic thing since 2018. Like, there were people doing it before us. There was Things Fall Apart, there were all the other stuff on African Magic Epic, but like the serious things from 2018. And the first thing we did was at Joche, and we decided that we wanted to carve a niche for ourselves, because I've been very much interested in telling, again, authentically African stories. And I feel like at Joche, Riona, Itura, and Chetam prepared us for this particular film. And this is 260 episodes on each of these things, and it's almost 48,000 minutes of TV. So I feel like it was the training ground for us to be here. So I'm grateful and humble that I was chosen to be a part of this experience. And as you guys, when the time comes, I don't think you will be disappointed. Doing these TV shows, it's like you're making mini films as you go along, but then it might not be in the same quality or the same approach to some degree. But Lillian told me about the stage play. Never been to the stage play, but she did send me a clip, and I did like glaze through what the idea was, and then she came to me with the idea, and this is what she wanted to do. I think that there's something that we both have in common, which is we're not doing this because we just want to do it. So for her, she's not doing it because I'm in finance and so let me have people that I want to collect money from, let's just make a film. There's some energy that she has, which is more, I'm doing this because I'm trying to bring a change, and I'm trying to bring long-term change to the industry, and this is like my baby and I want to experiment with it. She's not afraid. I used to tell her that she's a spirit, in the sense that I know that I've been an executive producer on some of my own stuff, and I know how my brain works when it comes to being anxious and how things happen. Key thing for her was she wanted to tell a Benin and Edo story, and she was passionate about it, which is something that both of us have. It's the passion, right? And she wanted to do it without cutting costs. So for her, it was, James, don't tell me let's do shortcut. What is it going to take? There is no film in Nigeria till date that has ever shown the glory of the Benin Kingdom, and that was the assignment. Do you understand what I mean? So how do you reimagine from scratch? The Wall of Benin, all these things didn't exist. How do you bring that to life? And so scale doesn't necessarily mean, oh, how big are the cast, how big. No, is, you know, how far are you willing to go to bring something from your imagination and reimagine it to scale, to the reality? So that was the assignment that she gave me, right? And the assignment I gave the entire team, to say, okay guys, we have a few months to to make this work, and, you know, bring it to, you know, the scale that it is, you know, required. She was on set, which was very beautiful, and you know, I know that she's as honest as, I don't think I met anybody as honest as she is. And the feedback that we got, you know, and I'm sure she would say that she was very much happy that, you know, the thing that she imagined and the assignment she gave is how it came to be. So that's how we made that scale happen. The thing about casting is, it went this way. Again, how do you reimagine the great Benin Kingdom in this, you know, you're trying to imagine it, meaning that everybody who's going to be in that space needs to speak the local language. So the first thing was, how do you get people who speak the local language? Then there's a mix of, and again, not to spoil too much, so you have certain people who were not necessarily, they're from Edo State, they don't necessarily Benin, but had to learn the language, and and we had a cultural consultant on set to make sure. I don't speak Benin, I don't even understand the language. What I do understand is the expressions and nuances, and that is what is important in the film. So working with the cultural consultant, you know, we needed to make sure that was happening. But back to casting, what was more important for me was, I want to make a film where when people watch it, they can relate and they can feel like they're in the film. It's suspension of disbelief. And so the first actor, I almost felt like me and Lillian were telepathically, because we were in the car coming back, and then she asked me a question and she was like, so who do you think is the whatever, who do you think will be the lead for this? And I said, I have somebody in mind, you have somebody in mind. And we both mentioned it, and I was like, yeah. Did you get? So yeah, at the exact time. So that was how we got the lead. Every other person for me was, I'm not even gonna lie, it was just God's grace, because there were people who we wanted, some people were not available, some people were available, we had schedules to deal with, and there was a fear that, look, am I sure that this particular person will do with this person? But funny enough, all the people who we had were meant to be on the film, and they did wonderfully well. So for us, yes, having a film with stars is great, which we did have a couple of cameos here and there, and, you know, some, you know, great people. What is more important for me is the story that's being told and how it's being told. So yeah, that's how. So we approach it more from a place of, I want to feel, than let's sell a film. I started storyboarding like almost like 3 weeks to when we were supposed to film, especially for some of the very technical stuff. And then for VFX, one of the things that we did was get a lot of references. So here's the thing, especially because of the kind of film we're going to do, the closest reference to some of the VFX and set extensions we're looking at doing was from the show called Shogun. And so we would sit and watch just the VFX process of how they went ahead to do some of their scenes, especially with set extensions. Because if you've seen the show Shogun, it's like Japan. Do you understand what I mean? There's something special that's gonna happen in the film. There's a scene that has a very scenic view, and one of the things we want to do is to put the Great Wall of Benin behind that view. Do you get? Yeah. So, and again, something that hasn't been done before. Osamede is a beautiful historical Edo epic film that tells the story of a female strong lead on an interesting journey. And I wouldn't say so much, but wait till you see the trailer, or wait till you see more about the film, and hopefully please go watch it.